Good morning, everyone. George DeSantis here. It's Saturday morning, June 6th. So I'm going to do this little video, 15-minute video, taking a look at the stock market for the week ending Friday, June 5th, 2020. Um, Before we begin to look at the stocks, etc., let's bring up a disclaimer, which we usually do. And in this disclaimer, I try to explain that I'm doing this for my own purposes, really, because I've found that over the years, and I've been at this for, I guess, 40 something years, um, if I review the market on a weekend, it helps me to determine my course of action for the coming week. I started typing this out, writing it out before we had videos, etc. And then later on, we started making a video of it with the help of one of my nephews. So it's posted on YouTube. Anyone can take a look at it. And I review the general market and then I take a look at some individual stocks. I obviously don't own all of those stocks, especially today. I'll be showing you a whole list of them that I find look interesting, but it doesn't mean that I own them or you should rush out and buy them. It's stocks that I bring to your attention, and then you do your own research and you decide if these are the kinds of stocks you want to own for any period of time, whether you want to own them for a week or 2 weeks or when they reach certain criteria. That's up to you. So let's start off by looking at the general market. So here's a weekly chart of the S&P 500. What I intend to do today is to spend more time with an interesting list of stocks that I scanned for and I researched yesterday on Shaken Analytics. So let's take a quick look. We can see we have a nice uptrend. The 4 is above the 9, 4 exponential moving average, above the 9, and the 9 is just crossing above the 30. This green line here, you see, it's just crossing above it. And if you're familiar with Rick Monteith's eFuture Vision 930 system, it works on any time frame, this being a weekly chart, and that is a signal that the 930 system is giving you a buy signal here. We're getting this uptrend indication here from the parabolic. It hasn't indicated that we should switch to a downtrend. We get both MACD indicators trending up. In fact, we got a buy signal here from this one here on May 22nd from the 1226.9. But if you read Alex Elder's books, you will know one of the important things I learned from him is one of the best times to be buying whatever it is that you're looking at, whether it's an individual stock, etc., is when MACD histogram is beginning to trend up from below the zero line. And so we had that kind of thing happening right here. And at the same time, we had Williams percentile with a 30 period breaking above the minus 50 magenta line. And just recently, we had this past week, we had the Jerry Appel sum of the rate of change indicator giving us a really bullish signal here, crossing above the 4% line. Let's go on to our daily chart, and then we look at the individual stocks. So here's a daily chart of S&P. You can see that, as I pointed out weeks ago, we were in this sort of what is called a Bollinger Band squeeze. The two lines are very close to each other compared to where they were here and here. So the squeeze doesn't tell you what direction the market will break into and whether it will go up or down. It just says that from here, and that's what we had. We had a squeeze which resulted in an uptrend, a further uptrend of the S&P, and now we're hitting the 2 standard deviation line. So, we might get a little bit of a correction, but nothing much. On the MACD indicators, we can see that the one we are going to be using more often now for sell signals is the 1939.9, as Jerry Appel suggested. And you can see that both these MACD indicators are trending up. And we also have these two indicators looking bullish here. So let's go on to some individual stocks. Everything is looking up for the weekly and the daily chart of the S&P. Let's turn to Shaken and the individual stocks. Before we turn to the individual stocks, one last thing. We see the Ishimoku cloud, and we can see that on the weekly chart we are now above the cloud. And So here's it, Shaken Analytics. What I did on yesterday was actually research a lot of these lists here, and came up with what I think was, the creme de la creme, the best that I could find. Now, some stocks you will be familiar with, some of them none of us will be familiar with. These are just names that pop up. But I'm going to go through the list. Now, Shaken has what is called a checklist here, and this checklist summarizes all of their research. In other words, the indicators that indicate strength and timing, and there are 3 of each. And ideally what we're looking for is all of these to be green, or at least in this case neutral, because it was oversold here and now it's ticking up. And so let's take a look at them. I don't know these companies. Most of these I don't know them. Okay, but this is called American Public Education, and you can see that it's got a very bullish power gauge rating, etc. I'm not going to go through all of them because I want to get through as many stocks as I can. Now let's take a look at what we find. It's rated very bullish. You could see it up here, very bullish, and most of these are very, very bullish or bullish. So you can see that. On the bar here, on the rating bar, 43 of these stocks, or 45 of them, are either bullish or very bullish. 2 are neutral. None of them bearish or very bearish. Okay, so these are the creme de la creme, as far as I could find. Now, so we go here, we find very bullish. We find that the personality changed from bearish to bullish, or rather from negative to positive. We find it was oversold and it's ticking up, and the money flow is great. I'm just giving you a list now, and you can do more research on it. ASMB. Now, this one is also very bullish. It was up 10% on Friday. It's a biotech stock. This is very risky, of course. And you can see it's very bullish, and it's all green, as I say. Now, it was oversold and it just ticked up, and you can see all of these indicators line up here. Now, we had what is called in technical analysis a flag, and it's breaking out of that flag. Next one, BIG. It's also very bullish, and what you see here is that relative strength is strong. It broke out of this negative relative strength. It is now oversold, but it's indicated early. What they like to see, Shaken like to see, is this line moving up, and then they say optimal buy. Okay, so what you have is a very nice uptrend. It's sort of a flag, and it's a little early to be buying it, but that's sometimes I do buy them there. It's Sienna. Sienna is now very bullish, but it's now coming down. I don't know how this one ended up on the list, but it's now coming down from overbought to oversold. So we want to wait till it's oversold. Let's skip that one. This one is similarly saying it's early because it's now oversold. Look at the relative strength from negative, change of personality. Very bullish, I think. Yeah, yes. That's a biotech company too. And you could see that there is a bit of a triangle here. So next one, I'm going to go pretty fast. You can make a list of them. This one is also indicating early because it's all green. All the indicators are green. Change of personality here, very bullish, became oversold, and look at money flow, very strong. So it rallied up, pulled back into the buy zone. Next one. This one is also early because it hasn't ticked up yet, but you can see that all the other indicators look good. It's rallied up a lot, and it's pulled back into what might be considered a buy zone. Next one is MGNX. That's another biotech. Quite a few of these biotechs. This one fits the bill except for money flow, which turned negative. So I'll be a little leery of this one. MHH I've mentioned before, and it rallied all the way up here. When we first started looking at it, it was all the way down here. And now You see, because you want to be buying when it's oversold here. But now it's overbought. So we want to keep an eye on that. It says wait, right? But it's all green. All the other indicators look good. Look at relative strength, money flow, right? And also very, very bullish. Another very bullish one is Regeneron, but it's also overbought now, so we want to wait until it comes down here to be buying. This one here, the next one, it says likewise wait until it comes down, but it's all very green, okay, as I put it. UFPI, also you want to wait until it comes down, okay. VBI, this one is now indicating oversold, but it's early. Now, the one negative here is that money flow is weak, but you see it became overbought. And now it's in that area where we might consider putting it on a watch list to buy. Adobe, familiar one, you could see it's now overbought. It's been rallying up a lot. Sometimes these things remain overbought for a while because they're very good stocks, but it's saying wait, okay? This little biotech, I owned it. I still own it. I still own some shares, but it was overbought. It had a hell of a run up here. It's very cheap. It's $1.19, and it's coming down to the oversold region right now. This is Applied Materials. It's ticking up from almost an oversold region, so I put it on the list. Let's see, AME. I'm not familiar with this one. It's electrical equipment, but it's overbought. I don't know how he got on the list. Now look at these two stocks that I mentioned, the ARK ETFs. They don't have the what do you call it, rating, because it's an ETF. But look at how it beat. You see it moved past the February high earlier than most stocks did. So I'm keeping this one on the list. And the other one, it's member of the same family of ETFs also. So keep that on the list. We have another one which is overbought. I want to go to the ones that are oversold. Here's one that's oversold. There's another biotech. It's oversold, but it hasn't ticked up yet. But you see, it became overbought, and then it came into the buy zone here. So that's another one you might want to take a look at. This one was oversold, and now it's ticking up. Now, not a very strong money flow, but it's ticking up on that, and so something to keep an eye on. CDNS, I made a lot of money with it before. It's continuing to trend up, and now it's overbought. So we want to wait until it becomes oversold to buy it again. But all these indicators are so powerful, looking very good. I don't know this one, DCO, but that's overbought. eBay is overbought. We won't take a look at that. This one here is another biotech, EBS, and we could see that it's oversold and ticking up, and its relative strength is good, and it's also bullish, and the money flow is not very strong, but it's pretty good. Facebook, which is oversold right now. Facebook is a well-known stock, of course, and money flow issued a buy here. So this is the time, according to Shaken, this is the time to buy Facebook. You can see that it's oversold. Relative strength is strong. Money flow is coming in, and it's bullish. Okay. Let's look at this one. I believe it's oversold and ticking up. FTNT, and all the other indicators look pretty good. Okay. FTNT. This is a marijuana type stock. It's now oversold. They sell CBC products, but you can see change of personality from here to here, right? Bullish and meeting the other criteria. So if you ever wanted to buy one of these marijuana type stocks, it's a pharmaceutical company. You could see that it's all green. Low, which I own, it's saying to wait, but I bought it sometime in here. It's saying wait because you have all the other indications here, very bullish. Microsoft, which I own, we're running out of time, but you can see. Let me bring up the rest of the list so you could copy it. All right, folks, that's all we have time for, but take a look at NVIDIA, which I own, Netflix, which I'd like to own, You can see XLK here. Have a nice weekend.